Namaste, it's Marcus again, and this is a third part of, in fact the last final part of Life is What You Make It. And we're in such different times that I was thinking before, it's like every generation has something massive, and you know, I suppose our parents, my age parents, they had World War II and other things, you know, and for us this is the biggest thing that's happened. And I know this sounds weird because I'm a bit of a psychiatric, that's what the doctor said, I think it was psychiatric, and he said, you know, anyway, I sort of had an idea something big was coming, and I think it was about 6-9 months ago. I said in one of my blogs, there's something big going to happen. And to be honest with you, I thought we were going to be hit by an asteroid or something, because that seems to be on the cards a lot, you know. There's lots of news about asteroids and near misses and stuff like this. So I thought it might be something catastrophic like that. I never guessed it would be something like this, because we're just not used to anything like this. The last thing we had like this on such a large scale was the Spanish flu, and of course none of us were really here unless you were born in 1918. So it's a real shock to the system. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's not an accident. This is so that we can change the way we live and the way we are basically as human beings destroying the planet. You know, everyone's got their views. Some people say, well, it's happening anyway, and you know, climate change is happening anyway because it's part of a 140,000 year cycle or a million year cycle, you know, whatever, and that's possibly the case. But there's no question that people throwing plastic into rubbish and into the water and into, you know, you don't need me to go through the list of stuff. You know, people burning down forests to make money by selling cattle, you know, making meat, if you like. You know, all these things that people are doing in the world today are just destroying the planet. So if you think of the planet as an organism, which I do, I think the planet's alive, it's a being in its own right. And you know, I know, you know, a bit of a fruitcake and stuff like this, but there's lots of fruitcakes like me who believe in stuff like this. And the thing is, the planet has a life, and if an entity or a being has something on it that's trying to kill it, it only really has one choice, and that is to kill that first, or find a way to get rid of it first. It doesn't have to kill it, it can find a way to let it move on. Like for us, we've got wasps trying to build nests in our shed, and you know, we don't want to kill the wasps. As much as I'm not a lover of wasps, I'll be honest with you, they're not my favourite thing. I love all animals. I try not to kill any animals, or, you know, that's my view, and I don't have any problems with anyone else. If they want to kill animals, it's entirely up to them. But personally, I try not to. Wasps, you know, are a bit of a challenge to me because I've got a really bad allergy to getting stung by wasps. So it's a bit of a problem. So I'm not keen on building a nest in the shed. So we're trying all these alternative things that everyone says works, like peppermint oil and stuff like this, to move them on. And this one wasp keeps coming back, this queen keeps coming back, you know. So I might have to take the unprecedented step of wiping this wasp out, but I don't want to do that. So I'll find an alternative if I can. And the planet, Mother Earth as we call her, you know, she probably doesn't want to wipe us all out. So she's trying to do it she's been trying to do it in ways to bring it to our attention, and you know, no one's taking any notice. And one of the main reasons people aren't taking any notice is because it's the governments, the people who we put in charge, who are, I don't want this to be political because it's not a political message. The people we put in charge put money first. It's like some presidents and prime ministers and whatever will put their people first. And that's right, you know, we have to put people first. But to put greed first and more money for the nation against the life of the planet and the state of the planet for our children, you know, we have to change that. And that's why I think personally this sort of thing happens, is so that we're forced to make changes. And at the moment the world is benefiting from hardly any planes flying, hardly any cars on the roads, hardly any factories producing lots and lots of fuel, you know, gas into the atmosphere. The world is sort of recovering. Lots of things are happening in the world where it's recovering from the choking, you know, the way it's been getting choked by human beings, really. So that's got to be a good thing, because, you know, it's not just for us now, it's for the future, for our children, our children's children. We have to think of them. So we're given all this now so that we can reflect on it. So hopefully, you know, God willing, we'll all stay alive, or most of us will stay alive, and be able to make changes to our lives, or to be able to do things. It might only be a little thing, it doesn't have to be a big thing. You know, even if one person decides, I'm not going to throw any plastic out anymore, I'll put it in the recycling, or I'll only buy plastic that can be recycled, if you can, of course. The supermarket stopped putting everything in film, put it in plastic that can be recycled. That would be a big help. But you know, we all have to do some little things, and anything you can do will help the world. So the other thing, in my view, I mean, this is all my view, I'm not trying to tell anyone how they should do things, but the other thing is, like I mentioned in the first video, it's all about what's really important. And people are what's really important. And, you know, caring for people, loving people. And that for me is the most important thing. I always put people first, you know, even before myself, which is probably a stupid thing to do, but I do that. So these are the things that we're going to start looking at now, and changing, hopefully for the better, and making our world a better place. But anyway, life is what we make it, so it's up to us now to make the changes that are going to help everybody, everything. You know, how come we're one of the richest nations in the world? We've got all these people living on the street. You know, in the winter, last year and the year before, it was freezing cold. There were people living on the streets. We've got all these empty buildings, you know, and it doesn't seem to me as if we're caring for people. And a lot of people have different, you know, it's easy to make judgments about, oh, the idiots lying on the street, you know, why are they stupid enough to lose their livelihoods and go, you know, there but for the grace of God, I say. You know, I saw something on the BBC a while ago about a reporter, a journalist. He ended up on the street until another journalist found him and brought him back into the fold, so to speak. So it can happen to anybody, you know. It's like mental health. It can happen to anybody. All these things, you know, we have to be sort of more caring and compassionate about with people. Compassion is one of the greatest gifts we have as mankind. We can really help just by being, in your heart, I always say. Be in your heart and think about people in a compassionate way. Don't be so judgmental all the time, you know, it's easy to be judgmental. You know, you've got to try and be understanding. Try and be compassionate. Let me see where this all leads us, because we can make this a beautiful world for us to live in. Alright, we might not have as much wealth individually, but we only need enough You know, it's like a few weeks ago, I hadn't done anything to have enough toilet rolls, you know, like lots of people. And there were other people that, you know, millions of toilet rolls. You know, so we don't need that much of anything. We just need enough of everything. And I pretty well live my life like that. Not always by choice, but I always have enough. And I thank those that watch over me, those beings of light and love, because they always make sure I've got enough. And with that sort of attitude, we can make sure that everybody has got enough. Rather than a few having, you know, a shed full of toilet rolls, we could have everyone with a toilet roll. You know, think of it like that. Think of it in the toilet roll thing. You know, in the toilet roll sense. Think of it like that. Everyone just needs enough. Enough food, enough love, enough drink, enough happiness, enough joy, enough entertainment. You know, we can make this world a much, much better place. And it's up to us as individuals. We have the power to change things. We just need a bit of vision, a bit of thought. If you just spend a bit of time, while we're all in lockdown here, spend a bit of time, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, just thinking about these things. You don't have to think about what I'm particularly saying, but just generally, you know, what can I do to make the world a better place? Start with yourself and your family, because that's the world. Your family and yourself, those around you, your loved ones, this is your world, this is my world. Those around me are my world. And the greater world outside of that is my world also. But I start with myself, with my family first. So start like that, how to make that better, and then work your way out into the world. Because we're not all going to be politicians or anything like that. But we can all have a think about it. Because life is what we make it. Isn't it? So I think that's it really for today. Life is what we make it. Part San. San is Japanese for 3. Ichi-ni san. I have to admit I don't actually speak any French. I speak a lot more Japanese than French. So if anyone meets up with me in the village and starts talking to me in French, don't think I'm ignoring you. I haven't got a clue, to be honest with you. You know, but that's the truth. Anyway, stay safe, stay well, have a good week, have a good month, have a good year, and look after each other. Got Twitch. Got something in my eye there. Oh, there it is again. Oh, that's recorded. Is it rubbish? I don't know.